The internet wants the Browns quarterback battle to be personality drama. It wants Deshaun Watson against Shedeur Sanders to be a simple argument about name power, fan pressure, contract size, and who gets louder reactions online. But that is not the real decision. The real decision is colder than that. Cleveland is looking at a quarterback room where one player carries one of the heaviest contracts in football, and the other represents a younger path with a very different future. One side has contract gravity, the other side has future gravity, and the Browns have to decide which quarterback gives the offense the best chance to function when the game stops looking clean. Because right now, the easy clips do not answer the question. Quarterbacks can look comfortable in light practice, they can throw on time in shorts, they can complete rhythm passes when the rush is simulated and the red jersey protects them from the consequences. But a quarterback battle is not truly real until the pocket starts feeling real. That is why training camp matters. That is why padded practices matter. That is why preseason games matter. Todd Monken has made the evaluation standard pretty clear. It is not about who the internet wants. It is not about who makes the cleanest social clip. It is not about who feels like the face of the franchise. It is about who gives Cleveland the best chance to score. That sounds obvious. But in this situation, obvious is hard, because the Browns are choosing between two different problems. With Watson, the question is whether a veteran quarterback with massive financial weight can finally look healthy, decisive, and stable enough to justify another shot at leading the offense. With Shedeur, the question is whether a younger quarterback with rhythm passing traits and long-term flexibility can handle National Football League speed before the team is forced to protect him from it. That is the football story, not the family brand, not the celebrity noise, not the comments section war. This is a franchise asking one uncomfortable question. When the pads come on, who keeps the offense from breaking? Because quarterback instability does not stay in the quarterback room. It creates negative plays. It wastes defensive effort. It changes the entire building. And that is why this battle is bigger than Cleveland. This is a modern National Football League team-building problem. The Browns are not just deciding who starts week 1. They are deciding what kind of mistake they are more afraid of making. Starting Watson and watching the offense stall again would feel like being trapped by the past. Starting Shedeur too early and watching pressure expose him would feel like rushing the future. That is why the evaluation has to be deeper than public opinion. A veteran may understand protections better. A younger passer may throw with better rhythm. A veteran may handle defensive disguise better. A younger quarterback may give the franchise more flexibility. And then there is the financial layer which never goes away. Watson is not just another veteran competing for a job. He is tied to a fully guaranteed $230 million deal that changed quarterback contract conversations across the league. That contract does not throw passes. It does not read coverage. It does not feel pressure. But it does sit in every decision room. It is the weight of the past sitting on top of a present football evaluation. The Browns can say the best quarterback will play. They should say that. But the contract still creates gravity. And at the same time, the contract cannot be allowed to make football decisions by itself. If Shedeur is clearly better, the Browns have to see it. If Watson is clearly better, the Browns have to see that too. That is why padded practices are the real hinge of the story. Light practice gives you information, but it does not give you the whole truth. A quarterback can win a day in shorts by getting the ball out cleanly against a rush that cannot finish. A receiver can look open when the timing is controlled. An offensive line can look stable when the defensive line cannot collapse the pocket with full force. A young quarterback can look calm when nobody is allowed to make him pay for holding the ball. That is why coaches wait. Pads change the picture. Rushers can test the edge. Defensive tackles can push the pocket into the quarterback lap. Linebackers can mug the line of scrimmage and force protection calls. Defenses can disguise pressure and make the quarterback prove he knows where the answer is. The ball has to come out on time, not just eventually. The pocket has to be managed, not just felt. And the quarterback has to decide whether a play is worth saving or whether saving the drive matters more. That is where the Watson question begins. The old version of Deshaun Watson was not just a pocket passer. He could create outside structure. He could stress defenses with movement. He could make plays late in the down. He had enough arm talent to attack intermediate windows and enough mobility to punish defenses when the play broke. But the Browns' version of Watson has been defined by something else: limited availability, injury resets, interrupted rhythm, a shoulder issue, an Achilles injury, not enough sustained proof. That does not mean he cannot win the job. It means the Browns have to evaluate the version in front of them, not the version that existed years ago. The memory of peak performance can linger longer than the current evidence. If Watson is truly healthier, the Browns need to know what that health actually gives them. Does the ball come out with better timing? Can he drive intermediate throws? Can he move well enough to keep boot action and play action alive? Can he feel pressure without drifting into sacks? Can he protect the football? Can he stack good days instead of giving the team flashes? That is the Watson evaluation. It is whether the offense becomes reliable when he is operating it under stress. Cleveland does not only need talent at quarterback, it needs stability. It needs fewer drive killers. It needs the quarterback to keep the offense on schedule. Watson still has advantages. He has seen National Football League defenses. He has managed protections. He has played real games with real pressure. He understands what veteran disguise looks like. But experience only matters if the body and decision-making still support it. If Watson is healthy, decisive, and clean in padded practices, the contract conversation becomes easier for Cleveland. But if the pressure returns, and the same negative play problems return with it, the contract becomes an anchor. Not because money is fake, because money cannot convert third down. That is where Shedeur enters the real conversation. Shedeur Sanders is not just a name, he is a different football question. His case is built around rhythm, accuracy, timing, and the possibility that his style can fit a structured passing game. In college, his best moments came when he could play with anticipation, deliver on time, and keep the offense in rhythm. That profile matters in a National Football League offense that wants structure. A quarterback who can hit the back foot and throw on time can make an offense look clean. He can protect the line by not asking it to block forever. He can protect the play caller by staying inside the design. But young quarterbacks do not get judged only on the throws they make on time. They get judged on what happens when the first answer is gone. When the first read is covered, does he reset fast enough? When the pressure gets home, does he protect the ball? When the pocket gets dirty, does he climb, escape, or hold it too long? That is the Shedeur evaluation. Shedeur may have the timing traits to make Cleveland look cleaner. He may also need the Browns to simplify the picture early. Both can be true, and that is why this competition is not about who has the louder argument. It is about which quarterback problem Cleveland trusts more. That leads into the scheme consequence. The Browns are not choosing a quarterback in a vacuum. They are choosing what their offense can be. For years, Cleveland has lived in a world built around structure: run game marriage, play action, boot action, timing routes, tight ends, protection rules, quarterback movement. That kind of offense can make life easier on the passer, but only if the quarterback keeps the rhythm alive. If the quarterback is late, the design breaks. If the quarterback drifts, the protection breaks. If the quarterback holds the ball, the line gets blamed for pressure that the quarterback helped create. If the quarterback cannot threaten certain areas of the field, the defense starts shrinking the game. So the question is not only whether Watson or Shedeur is better. The question is what the Browns can call with each one. With Watson, the offense may trust more veteran control, more protection checks, more freedom before the snap, more experience handling defensive disguise. If his body is right, he can still give Cleveland a veteran structure that allows the play caller to carry a deeper menu into a game. But if the mobility is not fully back, boot action becomes less dangerous. If the decision speed is inconsistent, timing concepts lose their value. If the shoulder or lower body limits show up again, the offense can become smaller than the playbook suggests. With Shedeur, the offense may look different. If he is seeing it clearly, the rhythm passing could fit. The ball could come out on time. The offense could lean into quick game, defined reads, play action windows, and throws that let him operate with pace. That could help the line. That could help the defense by sustaining drives. That could help the whole team feel like it is moving towards something new. But if the rush speeds him up, The play caller has to protect him. If he holds the ball, the offense has to help him with quicker answers. If the disguise is too much too soon, the Browns may have to shrink the playbook. That is why padded practices are not just a formality. They tell the Browns what offense is real, the one that can survive a 3rd and 7 in the AFC North when the defense knows you have to throw. It is easy to say the younger quarterback gives you upside. It is easy to say the veteran gives you experience. But on 3rd down, experience has to become a completed pass. Upside has to become protection control. Contract size has to become production. Camp hype has to become operation. That is the Browns' decision in one sentence. Which quarterback turns the playbook into something the team can trust? Then comes the business consequence. Watson signed a fully guaranteed $230 million contract. That kind of deal is not just a salary, it is a franchise decision that follows you for years. The Browns have reworked parts of the contract to manage the cap, but restructuring does not erase the original commitment. It usually pushes pain into a different place. That means Cleveland is not just asking who should play quarterback. It is asking how much of the past still gets to control the future. Sunk cost is one of the most powerful forces in sports. A team gives up picks. A team gives out money. A team sells itself on a plan. Then the plan gets complicated. The hardest thing in the building is not always finding the next answer. It is admitting the old answer may no longer be the best answer. If the defense is ready to win now, the offense cannot be treated like a financial recovery project. If the roster has a competitive window, the quarterback who gives the team the best chance to score has to matter more than the quarterback who costs the most. But if Watson is healthy, efficient, and clearly ahead, then the contract and the football evaluation finally point in the same direction. That would be the cleanest outcome for Cleveland. The complicated outcome is the one everyone is waiting on. What if Shedeur looks close? What if Watson looks healthier, but not clearly better? What if the younger quarterback protects the football better? What if the veteran handles the operation better? That is why this is not a normal quarterback battle. It is a decision tree. This is where the counterpoint matters. It is too easy to say the Browns should just move on from Watson. It is also too easy to say Watson has to start because of the contract. Both arguments skip the actual evaluation. Watson could look better than expected. A healthy veteran quarterback with real experience can separate quickly once defenses are allowed to disguise, hit, and finish. If Watson protects the ball, commands the offense, and shows the body is ready, he can win this job for football reasons. Shedeur could also need more time. A young quarterback can look sharp in rhythm and still struggle when the second read is late. The interior pressure arrives, and the defense forces him to play faster than college ever did. That is not failure. That is development. The Browns have to know the difference between a player who is not ready yet and a player who cannot become the answer. They also have to know the difference between a veteran who is still recovering and a veteran who is no longer the answer. That is the hardest evaluation in football. Watson is trying to prove his current body and current decision-making can survive the season. Shedeur is trying to prove his future can arrive early enough to matter now. The contract is trying to pull the organization backward. The rookie path is trying to pull it forward. And the coaches have to live in the middle. That is why the best answer is not the loudest answer. It is the most functional one. The Browns should not start Shedeur because the internet is tired of Watson. They should not start Watson because they paid him. They should start the quarterback who lets them call the offense they actually want to call. The quarterback who protects the line. The quarterback who avoids the negative play. The quarterback who gives the defense a game script worth protecting. That is the real standard. And it says something bigger about the National Football League. Fully guaranteed contracts changed the quarterback economy, but they did not remove performance pressure. They only made it more expensive to be wrong. A team can push money forward, it can restructure, it can explain the plan, it can buy time. But eventually, the field asks the same question. Can this player win? That is why Cleveland is such a useful case study. If Watson wins the job and plays well, the Browns can say the painful patience finally paid off. If Shedeur wins the job, the Browns become one of the clearest examples of a team choosing future flexibility and on-field function over the weight of a historic contract. If the battle drags into the season, then the entire roster lives inside uncertainty. and that may be the most dangerous outcome of all. Quarterback uncertainty changes the whole building. Before the final takeaway, this is exactly why FootballRealm exists inside the GameplanByDylon ecosystem. The goal is not to chase the loudest sports argument. It is to take a football story, organize the moving parts, remove the noise, and explain the mechanism underneath. The same approach sits behind the broader GameplanByDylon product store, where the focus is building prompt systems that help people think, create, plan, and organize better. And this Browns story is a perfect example. The headline says, Watson versus Shedeur. The deeper story says, contract versus performance, veteran experience versus young rhythm, past investment versus future flexibility, practice clips versus padded truth, celebrity noise versus football mechanism. That is the final answer. The Browns' quarterback battle is not about which name creates the most attention. It is about which quarterback keeps the offense alive when the clean practice environment disappears. Watson has the contract gravity. Shedeur has the future gravity. But the job should belong to the quarterback who gives Cleveland the cleanest offensive reality. Not the cleanest story, not the easiest public explanation, not the most expensive history, the cleanest football reality. Because once the pads come on, the Browns do not need a narrative. They need a quarterback who can protect the offense from breaking. Drop your thoughts below. If you were running the Browns evaluation, what would you need to see in padded camp or preseason before naming quarterback one? And if you want more football stories explained without the hot take noise, subscribe to FootballRealm and join the realm.